for you to be able to create a trusting relationship so that they're not just choosing you on price.
So Amelia, one of the big things in our industry is a lot of people out there putting percentages or things into what builders should be charging. Like, how would you suggest that builders deal with clients, designers, architects, suggesting to them what they should be charging?
It's really interesting, isn't it? Because there's this kind of magic figure of 10% that gets bandied about, and that oftentimes I know homeowners that I work with and architects and designers think is the magic figure that a builder should be charging. And so they'll actually look through a contract, and if a builder's charging a different amount to that, they'll start to interrogate them and question whether they, why are they charging more? What does this margin actually mean? That kind of stuff. And I think that, for builders, it's really worth understanding the work that we do with builders. We have our operation and expenses, our operating costs and expenses spreadsheet that we take builder members through. It's the first thing that we do. We've never had a builder fill that out and know that and say, yeah, I've been covering my expenses properly.
All be close.
Yeah, all of them are always undercooking their margins. And so, it is this thing of builders first not necessarily understanding what it costs to run their building business. And then once they do, the importance of actually educating clients and designers and architects what it actually costs to run a building business as well. And I think too, having worked in the industry for a long time and having co-owned an architectural practice, I don't know whether architects and designers also necessarily understand this in terms of their own margins in their businesses as well.
Yeah.
So, I don't think it's necessarily fair for an architect or designer to be telling a builder what they should or shouldn't be charging. But you can't expect people who don't know what it costs to run a building business to think any different unless you, as a builder, are actually sort of talking through with them, what's involved in running a building business. I know you have this conversation with clients and designers. How do you sort of find that in those early conversations?
Look, it is something that comes up all the time, and not just with clients, with architects, designers as well. But my thing is, there is this perception with any business in the world that you put this certain amount of figure on it. But my thing is that every building business is different. Every business is different. So for me, it's all about educating our clients that, look, I run a professional business. I understand what it takes to run my business, and I know what margins I need to put on my jobs. And I put those margins on there to run a sustainable, successful and profitable business so that I can deliver them a great product. But the other big part of this is and if homeowners are looking for different builders, every builder is different. You've got one-man band that's still on site doing stuff on the tools. You might have a guy that's got a few guys working for him, then it just keeps growing. They might have an admin staff, and then the next person might have a couple of admin staff and an office premises, and then vehicles. It just grows and grows and grows. So besides the fact that people are trying to put an actual figure or telling builders that, hey, this is what you need to be putting on your jobs, it's a little bit rubbish, to be honest.
Yeah, and what's interesting is at the end of the day, you're not asking a homeowner how much money do you earn every year. So it's not really a homeowner's business to know what you're charging in order to make your business run. I know that homeowners, though, they want to know that they're getting the best value price for the home that they're going to create. But that doesn't mean that they have to know all of the nuts and bolts of what it costs you to run your business. So when we say, it's important to educate homeowners, that doesn't mean that you need to sit down and say, well, it costs me X to do this and it costs me X to do that. I know that you do it by actually demonstrating, look, I have an admin team that helps out. That means that we're more organised. That means that you've got another point of contact in the office. That means that, things run more smoothly. I've got supervisors. I've got, all of these kinds of things. All of that starts to actually indicate to a homeowner that there is a different metric in the way that you're actually,
So, and look, that is a big part of it because, and a lot of the time we'll find that when we educate our clients on that, that is what they want. They want to know that if something comes up, they've got someone they can talk to. So many clients don't want a builder that's on site trying to slog it out, get the job built, and they're trying to get in contact with him. He's not answering his phone and those types of things. So what would your suggestion be? How can builders, what can they do to, take this question out of the equation?
Yeah, I think it's really important. The whole process of actually creating a relationship with a client really needs to build in that opportunity to get to know them better, and for you to be able to create a trusting relationship so that they're not just choosing you on price. If you're working with clients that are literally trying to pit builder against builder and push everybody down to what the cheapest price is to build their home, then chances are you're attracting and working with the wrong clients.
Yeah.
And I think that, the more that I know I work with homeowners, and the more that I see what they're trying to achieve, particularly if they're building their long-term family homes, they may say that they're choosing on price. They're not, though. They're actually choosing a builder that they feel that they see eye to eye with, that they can get along with, that they feel that they can have a trusting, open communication with, that they know is going to be around for the long term, that's going to build them a quality home. That there's a whole heap of other things that come into it. And when you're finding those kinds of clients, price doesn't end up being the main metric that they make a choice with, and generally ends up being quite down the list of priorities as well.
Yeah, and that can all come back to marketing. Like you want to market yourself to sell your business, sell the fact that you're going to meet the client's expectations, sell the fact that you've got a good business that is going to run, it's going to still be alive to finish their project and all those types of things.